All right, so with it being my birthday and all today, I decided to make a video tutorial on how to play Happy Birthday on the piano. It is actually one of the best songs to know how to play on the piano because the occasion calls for it so many times. It's a great song to be able to just kind of bust out and play, and it's actually as simple as it may seem to play. It's actually not as simple as you would think. It's easy to play, but it's still pretty impressive. So let's start with, I'll just play it first just to show you how it goes, and then I will go through the left hand, the right hand, and then we'll put it back together. So here it is. So that is how I play it. Obviously, there's multiple ways you can play this. You can play it in different keys. You can use different chord inversions. But this is what I find to be the simplest way to play it so your left hand actually doesn't have to move that much. So we are playing in the key of F major. So F major has just one flat, which is our B flat. So if you haven't done scales yet, you can check out one of my other videos on scales where I explain key signatures, flats, sharps, and all of that. So we are in F major. So with that knowledge, I will get a little bit into the theory of it. So with our left hand, we're going to be doing what's called the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, and the 5-7 chord. Now the 5 chord and the 5-7 chord are essentially the same chord. In this case, it's a C chord is the 5 chord, C major, C, E, G. And then to make it a 5-7 chord, we do the same thing, but then just add a B flat on top. So that's called a 5-7 chord, also called a dominant chord. But if you don't know anything about 1 chords, 2 chords, 4 chords, 5 chords, please check out my other video on that. You don't necessarily need it in order to play this song, but if you're ever curious about how theory works, how chords work, chord progressions, the video will explain it very well. All right, so what our left hand is doing is we're playing an F chord in its second inversion, right? So an F chord is usually F, A, C. First inversion is A, C, F. Second inversion is C, F, A. So this is our 1 chord. We're in the key of F. We're playing an F chord. Then all we do is switch to a C chord. Then from our C chord, we play our C7 chord or C dominant 7 chord. Then back to your F chord. Then you play your F chord again. Now here we go to the 4 chord, the B flat chord, right? B flat major. Like I said, I'm doing this inversion. You could have just as easily gone down there to B flat, D, and F. You could really do any inversion. It'll still sound essentially the same. I like to go here because it limits the movement. So after I go here, then we just go back to the F chord, back to your C chord, back to your F chord. So there's really only like 3 or 4 chords in this. Now what our right hand is doing is obviously the melody, Happy Birthday to You. So that goes C, C, D, C, F, E. So now that rhythm is important. The left hand comes in when we hit D. Happy birthday to, and then when we hit E, that's when we change to our C chord, U. So it's happy birthday to you. So that is part 1. Part 2, the right hand is essentially going to do the same thing, just one small change. We do C, C, D, C, so that's the same. But instead of doing F, E, now we do G, F. So happy, and then our left hand, when we hit D, is going to play the C7 chord. And then when we get to F, we play that F chord again. So let's just look at that part, because it may seem like a lot right now. But that's why I like to break it into parts. So part 1 is... So before even moving on to part 2, you should just get comfortable with that. C, C, D, C, F, E. And pay attention to where the chords are playing, right? We play it on D, and then on E. Then to play part 2, right, we're already U. Then to get to this next chord, right, notice what I do here. So notice, I'll show a little bit of the fingering here. So right here, right, I'm in like a C position, C, D, E, F, G. And then to get to that first F chord, all I do is slide my thumb over to the A. So, right, simple enough. Then I bring it back to the G. But now for this next chord, notice what I do there. My thumb was on G, and then while I'm waiting to play this, my index finger replaces it while I'm holding down, and then I slide my fingers up so that I can get to that B flat chord note there, right? So, right? you could just as easily do and use your second finger here to start with, but still you're gonna want to slide up to get to that chord. Notice where my fingers are playing here. They're way up here. When you notice, you can make a sound up there. Now, whenever you're doing a mixture of white and black keys, generally you're gonna slide your fingers up, because otherwise, if your finger's here, you're gonna have to turn your hand like this just to get the finger up. So it's much easier, even if you do it this way, then we slide up. And then when we come back, we slide back down. So you could practice that part on its own. Part 2, happy birthday to you. And just keep doing that part until it becomes easy, and then you can combine both. So that is the first 2 parts. Now, with our right hand, what we're gonna do here is, so that is an octave jump. So with our right hand, what we're gonna do here is C, C, C. But notice I do go up a whole octave to the C. It's this C, middle C twice, the one that we've been playing, and then we jump all the way up to this C. So if you can make that octave jump, you stretch your pinky. If you can't, right, you'll have to bounce off of it, but you should be able to stretch about an octave. So you can actually have your hand set up like this, and then when we hit that C, we're just gonna play the F chord again, the same chord we were just on. We're gonna play it again. Then we play A, F, E, D. So C, A, F, E, D. And then when we're gonna change chords is we're gonna go after that. When we hit the E, we're gonna go to our B flat major chord there of D, F, B flat, E, D, like that. So that's gonna be part 3. Once again, notice how I slide up my hand to get that chord rather than doing this and then trying to twist my thumb over. I simply just slide my fingers up, playing all the way up here, and then down here. So, happy birthday, happy birthday. So, happy birthday, dear so-and-so. So that's part 3. So all 3 together. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear so-and-so. And now finally we get to part 4. So part 4, we're gonna need to stretch our pinky up to B flat here. Happy, so we're gonna play that twice. So da, da, then B flat twice. And then we're gonna play A. And at the same time we play A, that's when we go to our F chord. Then we do F. And then when we hit G, we play our C chord, and then we go back to F and play our F chord. So that 4th part all together, right? This is the end of part 3. Dear so-and-so, and then you could use your pinky or your 4th finger. We'll use what finger feels comfortable. Happy birthday to you. So once again, you should practice all these parts individually. So just practice this part. As many times in a row as you need to get it feeling comfortable. And then eventually, if you do that with each part, you should be able to combine them all. So that is the tutorial on Happy Birthday. Now I know I got into a lot of theory terms, you know, chords, 1 chord, 5 chord, dominant chord, key of F major, you know, all things like that. You do not need that knowledge in order to be able to watch what I'm doing and copy the notes that I'm playing and use the same fingers as me. However, when you have this understanding of chords and scales and how theory works, you start to be able to play by ear better. You start to have a better sense of what's going on in the music. You can actually hear the music in a much different way because you understand what each chord is doing. Now, if you're totally new to music, right, just learn how to play the piece. In the theory, you'll start to pick up later as you learn to read music, you work with a teacher, you'll start to pick that up. So for now, if you want to just be able to play it, don't worry about what chord I'm saying, just simply just copy the notes that I'm playing at each general part. All right, so I'm just going to play it through one more time, and I'll just play it nice and slow just so you can really see it. So here it is. All right, so thank you so much for watching that. I hope you get to learn how to play this. Play this on your birthday. Play this on your friends' birthdays. Play this for anyone's birthday. It's an awesome song to be able to play, to be able to pull out really anywhere at any time. So thank you for watching, and I will see you for the next video.